There is a subtle and mysterious moment in life when everything seems to align effortlessly. It's as if invisible forces begin to conspire in our favor, orchestrating encounters, signs, and synchronicities that lift us out of ordinary logic and place us before something greater, something that touches the soul. When we feel that we're in harmony with existence, a presence begins to make itself known in our journey. Not just someone we desire, but someone whose very being resonates deeply with our own. It's more than love, more than destiny. It's an energetic convergence between two souls ready to recognize each other. In this video, we'll explore how depth psychology can reveal the signs of this alignment. You're about to understand why certain encounters are not coincidences, but mirrors of your inner process. If you feel you're ready for this reunion, comment, "I am aligned with the energy of true love." In Carl Jung's view, the encounters that transform us most profoundly are never random. They reflect deep movements of the psyche. The alignment with someone who resonates with our soul is directly related to the process of individuation, the journey of integrating opposites within ourselves. According to Jung, throughout life we project onto others what we haven't yet recognized or integrated within. This projection is particularly intense in romantic relationships, as the other becomes the perfect mirror of our hidden shadows and dormant potentials. The concepts of Anima and animus, the inner representations of the feminine and masculine within each of us, are also essential here. When someone enters our life and we feel a connection that transcends reason, it may be that this person is embodying aspects of our anima or animus, reflecting something our soul longs for in order to feel complete. But such a meeting can only occur when there's a certain level of emotional maturity and self-awareness, when we begin to acknowledge and integrate our own shadows. The universe, from this symbolic perspective, acts as a reflection of our inner state. When we are truly aligned with who we are, we attract not only experiences, but people who vibrate at the same frequency as our most authentic being. Thus, the meeting with a soulmate is not an external reward, but a mirror of our inner harmony. Synchronicity, another of Jung's central concepts, appears as confirmation that such an encounter carries a deeper meaning. When we feel ready to experience a transformative relationship, the universe begins to respond. What appears to be chance is, in truth, a calling from the soul. The true connection between souls doesn't happen by accident, nor from lack or fleeting desire. It emerges as the result of a deep process of self-knowledge. In Jungian analytical psychology, this process is called individuation, the journey through which a person gradually becomes who they truly are, integrating unconscious parts into consciousness, recognizing their shadows, and reaching a greater sense of wholeness. It's precisely along this path that the possibility of authentic love begins to form. Individuation is not a philosophical luxury, but a psychic necessity. Through it, we break free from identities imposed upon us and begin to live from our inner truth. Along the way, we stop searching in others for what we lack and start recognizing in them what complements us, qualities we have also begun to develop within ourselves. Love ceases to be a hiding place for our wounds and becomes a mirror of our growth. To be aligned with someone on a deep level is not simply to find someone who understands us, but someone who recognizes our process, and more than that, someone whose inner process resonates with our own. This is only possible when each person is committed to their own development. In the early stages of the journey, it's common to project onto partners idealized images shaped by childhood expectations or unconscious needs. Yet, the further we walk the path of individuation, the more those projections begin to dissolve, and we start seeing the other as they truly are, with their humanity, their conflicts, and their unique light. At this new stage, love no longer appears to complete us, but to accompany us. The presence of the other doesn't fill our emptiness, but shares our abundance. Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." That transformation can only happen when there is enough psychic maturity to sustain the bond without losing individuality. Often, before encountering a deep love, we must go through periods of solitude, not as punishment, but as preparation. The soul needs silence and time to reorganize its inner contents, to heal its wounds, and to regain strength. It's in this solitude that we develop inner listening, the ability to recognize our own voice. And the more refined this inner listening becomes, the more we begin to notice signs that we're in tune with something greater. When this state is reached, meeting another person is no longer a desperate search, but a natural consequence of inner alignment. In this sense, the universe doesn't respond to our superficial desires, but to our most authentic vibration. When we align with who we truly are, we emit a frequency that attracts everything resonant with that state, including people. Jung also warned that without inner work, we end up living relationships based on the repetition of unconscious patterns, relationships that, instead of expanding us, imprison us in cycles of pain. But as we walk the path of individuation, we free ourselves from these repetitions and become capable of forming relationships grounded in freedom, awareness, and mutual respect. Authentic love, therefore, is the result of an inner movement that reflects outwardly. It's not about finding someone, but about being ready to be found. Being at peace with yourself, your choices, your pains, and your path. That's what makes you capable of living a relationship where the other doesn't come to save you, but to walk beside you, mirroring, challenging, nurturing, and growing together. Thus, the meeting of resonant souls is not the end of the journey, but the beginning of a new cycle. A cycle where love becomes a field of expanding consciousness, a portal for mutual transformation, and a reflection of the deep integration between the inner and outer worlds. Every meaningful encounter carries within it a mystery, the mystery of seeing in another something that actually exists within ourselves. Carl Jung reminded us that much of what we feel toward others, especially in intense emotional relationships, is not based solely on who they are, but on the projections we cast upon them. Projection is a psychic mechanism through which we transfer unconscious contents outward, often onto someone with whom we share an emotional bond. When those contents are connected to desire, idealization, or repressed pain, the image we see in the other person often reflects what we have yet to recognize within ourselves. In the context of soul relationships, this becomes even more delicate and powerful. We feel we are before someone special, and indeed we are. But that perception arises not only from the other's essence, but from the deep activation this person triggers in our unconscious. Someone who reveals our soul is, in truth, mirroring dormant parts of us. The intensity of the connection often comes from the impact of that mirror. The soul recognizes the soul when the shadow begins to move. In Jungian psychology, the shadow represents everything that has been repressed, forgotten, or never developed within us. It contains both negative aspects, such as insecurity, anger, envy, and latent potentials, gifts we never explored out of fear or conditioning. When we meet someone with whom we feel a profound bond, that person often activates our shadow. They force us to see what we've avoided. Love then ceases to be mere romance and becomes an alchemical process of inner transformation. At the beginning of an intense relationship, it's common to project onto the other the image of the soulmate, the ideal partner, the dreamed completeness. But with time, those projections tend to dissolve, revealing the raw reality of the relationship. The other is not a savior nor an ideal, but a human being with their own shadow. At that moment, we have two choices: to flee from disillusionment or to face it as an opportunity for growth. Jung saw this as a crucial turning point because it's precisely when love can transform into consciousness. That's when a true relationship begins, when we stop loving the projected image and start loving the real person. Recognizing the soul in another, therefore, is not about romanticizing or idealizing, but about realizing that such an encounter places us face to face with ourselves. Someone who touches us deeply is often revealing forgotten parts of our emotional history, bringing to light patterns, traumas, and wounds that need to be embraced and integrated. This doesn't mean every true love must be painful, but that it will be honest enough not to hide what needs to be seen. It's in this scenario that the process of individuation intertwines with relationships. Instead of using the other as a shield against pain, we use the bond as a tool for self-knowledge. What the other awakens in us, whether light or shadow, becomes valuable material for our journey. When two people are aware of this process, the relationship turns into a sacred space for mutual transformation. One recognizes the soul of the other, not only for what it gives, but for what it reveals. Such encounters are rare, and when they happen, they're not meant to exist only on the level of passion. They are soul calls, invitations to look deeper within. If we choose merely to feed the romantic ideal, we get lost in fantasy. But if we choose to see what is being mirrored, we open the doors to a new dimension of love, one that transforms. Recognizing the soul in another, then, is not a magical event disconnected from psychic reality. It's a profound movement where projection and shadow meet to reveal who we are. The other is the mirror, love is the catalyst, and the awakening that takes place there is, above all, a call to become whole. There are moments in life when everything seems orchestrated with almost magical precision. People appear at the exact moment we're ready to receive them. Words are spoken with the exact weight we needed to hear. Unlikely situations fit together like pieces of a larger puzzle. Carl Jung called this phenomenon synchronicity, the simultaneous occurrence of two events linked not by cause, but by meaning. It's within this symbolic realm that encounters with resonant souls often manifest. Not because we follow linear logic, but because we cross a threshold where the soul and the universe align. Synchronicity is not superstition, it's a language, a way for the unconscious to communicate with us through external events. When we're in a process of inner alignment, integrating the shadow, maturing emotionally, and approaching our essence, we begin to perceive these signs more clearly. Outer reality starts reflecting our inner reality. The encounters that arise in such times are never ordinary. They carry the weight of meaning. They are answers, mirrors, invitations to a new stage of consciousness. One of the clearest signs that a meeting is significant is the feeling of immediate recognition, as if that person had already been in our life long before. It's not romantic idealization, but a deep echo that resonates in the soul. Jung explained that this happens because archetypes from the collective unconscious become activated. The archetype of the inner partner, whether anima or animus, projects onto the other when we're ready to integrate previously dormant aspects. That recognition doesn't come from the ego, but from the self, the organizing center of the psyche. It knows that this meeting plays a role in our individuation process. Beyond recognition, synchronicity also manifests through patterns, repeating numbers, symbols, songs, recurring dreams, phrases that appear unexpectedly, all ways the universe, or the unconscious, draws our attention. When we're open, we perceive these signs with greater sensitivity, not as predictions but as confirmations of an inner path already unfolding. The presence of the other in this context becomes a landmark. Something within us has changed, and the world responds with a reflection. Synchronicity doesn't guarantee that a relationship will be easy or lasting. It only reveals that the encounter carries deep meaning. How we handle that meaning depends on our level of awareness. We can ignore the signs, project illusions, or dive into idealizations. But we can also embrace the experience with maturity, allowing it to transform us, even if it lasts only as long as it needs to fulfill its purpose. The value of an encounter lies not in its duration, but in what it awakens and reveals. The universe, in this sense, doesn't conspire based on our conscious desires, but in response to our vibrational state. When we're misaligned, we attract experiences that reinforce our conflicts. When we become more authentic, we begin to attract experiences that mirror our truth. The meeting with someone who seems to touch our soul is one of these reflections, not a promise of a happy ending, but a turning point in the journey of self-knowledge. That's why many people say they met someone special at a moment when they were at peace with themselves, after healing or after a heartfelt decision. Synchronicity appears as a symbolic seal. Something within has changed, and the outer world responds. In this sense, connection with another is also connection with the whole. Love doesn't occur in a vacuum. It's a cosmic event, manifesting when our being is in harmony with its essence. When we begin to perceive life this way, we start honoring our encounters differently. We listen, feel, observe. We no longer chase others for fulfillment, but receive what comes as an expression of a greater process. Synchronicity then becomes a reminder. The soul is speaking and the universe is listening. Within Jung's psychic framework, every human being carries an opposite principle within. In man, the anima, the inner feminine. In woman, the animus, the inner masculine. These archetypal images are not romantic fantasies, but psychic forces that deeply shape how we love, choose partners, and relate. Integrating these aspects is essential for a relationship to move beyond projection and become a conscious, transformative experience. The anima and animus are partly shaped by early experiences with parental figures and by the cultural images we absorb throughout life. When unintegrated, they appear as unconscious projections. Men tend to seek in women the reflection of an idealized anima, while women look for strength, direction, or protection in a projected animus. But therein lies the danger. The other person begins to carry the burden of representing something internal that has not yet been recognized. As a result, relationships become fragile, unstable, and often disappointing. Integrating these archetypes requires inner work. It begins with noticing how they manifest. In men, the anima expresses as sensitivity, intuition, creativity, receptivity. When rejected, she appears distorted as emotional dependency, romantic idealization, insecurity. When embraced and developed, she makes the man whole, empathetic, and capable of loving maturely. In women, the animus appears as critical thinking, determination, action, focus, and rationality. When repressed or distorted, it emerges as rigidity, judgment, excessive control, or hostility. When integrated, it becomes inner strength, clarity, and emotional grounding. A conscious relationship becomes possible when both partners begin to integrate these inner aspects. The partner ceases to be the container for projections and becomes a companion on the path. Love is no longer an attempt to be completed through the other, but a celebration of what has already awakened individually. There is more freedom, truth, and emotional responsibility. Each one tends their inner world so that their meeting isn't a symbiotic fusion, but a union between two wholes. The symbolic language of archetypes helps us understand why so many relationships are both intense and painful. When we project the anima or animus unconsciously, any disappointment, conflict, or distance reactivates deep wounds. We feel as though we're losing a part of ourselves. Yet as we begin to reclaim these contents as our own, the relationship ceases to be a battlefield and becomes a space for healing. We start embracing the other as they are, without demanding they embody something that only we can develop within. This integration also allows for a new kind of listening in relationships. A man who accepts his anima listens to his partner with greater depth, recognizes her pain without feeling threatened, and shares his vulnerability without shame. A woman who integrates her animus asserts herself with firmness, but without aggression, and understands her partner's silence, without interpreting it as rejection. They meet in a more authentic field, where communication is not distorted by unconscious noise, but grounded in real presence. At this level, love becomes a spiritual experience, not in a religious sense, but as an expression of psychic totality. Jung believed that true relationship was a shared path of individuation, a space where two beings walk side by side toward their own centers, helping each other grow, face the shadow, and expand consciousness. This can only happen when anima and animus cease to be hidden forces and become allies on the path. To be aligned with someone at this level means that both have already taken significant steps toward wholeness. The meeting doesn't happen out of need for completion, but from the potential for expansion. This doesn't eliminate challenges, it transforms their nature. Conflicts are no longer destructive but revelatory. Crises, when they come, don't signal an end but a new stage of growth. In this space, love is not static or idealized. It is alive, dynamic, and transformative. The true soul we recognize in another is the echo of the soul already awakened within ourselves. The love that awakens the soul doesn't arrive to fill a void, but to mirror the fullness we've begun to cultivate inside. Throughout this video, we've explored how Carl Jung's analytical psychology reveals that the true encounter with a resonant soul is not a matter of chance, but the reflection of deep inner alignment. Individuation, shadow integration, awareness of projection, and the awakening of the anima and animus archetypes form the foundation for love to cease being an illusion and become a path of mutual transformation. When we are in tune with our deepest truth, the universe responds. It manifests signs, encounters, and experiences that mirror this new vibration. Being ready to recognize another's soul requires courage, presence, and maturity, and it's at that point that love ceases to be destiny and becomes a conscious choice. If you felt this content touched something within you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. And now take a moment to watch the video on the screen. It will take you even deeper into your journey of self-discovery and inner awakening, because true love begins within you.